Hello, good afternoon. My name is Hamam Toozwa, and I'm taking you for IT today. Try to just get started. I'm going to ask a few questions to just check what we did yesterday. So the first thing, I just want you to add through the chat what I will just tell you the description, and then you type in the letter, whether it's A, B, C, D, or E. Right. The first one, which letter represents the domain name of the company or organization? That's C. Anyone else thinking it's C or otherwise? Anyone who can support C? So we have only one who says it's C. That is correct. Okay. Then what part refers to the user or the local? You can say the local user. Which part refers to the user? Where you normally put the username. Which part represents the user? The username there on the address that is given. That's A. Anyone else? Let's see. We have A. Info, that's correct. And then what part represents the type of organization? Type of organization. And then type of organization. What represents type of organization? D is correct. D is correct. And then what letter represent the geographical location? And you can give an example of any other geographical location that is not cited on the example. What letter represent the geographical location? E, then SA, it's Saudi Arabia. Okay, good. Right. The others, I need you to answer as well. I can see Otatile is doing well, and I know the others, you are in agreement, but just answer. And then if you all answer A, then we know everyone is getting it. Right. Then the last part is, I have these descriptions. Now this regards the different parts of an email. Now from these ones, I'll just give you the description, and then you can write that part of the email, like how it's represented on the email. Right. Which one represents the recipient's address? How is it represented on the, let's say you start a new email. Where do you put the recipient's address? Which part of the new email? Let's say, for instance, you are using Gmail or you are using Outlook. Where do you put, on which field maybe rather, do you put the recipient's address? Send to, okay, to, we can say to, if you remove send, then it's fine. Then we can say it's to, right? So you will see there is, if you start a new email, then there is to, and then you type in the email address. And then the second one, let's, this part now, all the other recipients, they will be able to see the email addresses of everyone where the message was sent to. Which part is it? So we have two, and then if now you want all the other recipients to see where the email is being sent to, where do you put the email addresses? Remember, we have about 1, 2, 3 parts where you put email addresses if you are starting a new email. So the first one, too, okay, CC, and then it's short for carbon copy. Perfect, good. And then remember I said I need also the others to respond. And then the identities of the other recipients will not be shown if you include the email addresses on this field. What field is it? Remember, these are like labels. You will see the labels and then the input box, you know, you are doing Delphi, so it's easy for you. Right, BCC and anyone else to expand it. I just want another person that's correct. BCC, what does it stand for? If I can have any other student to just chip in. BCC, what does it stand for? Right, I can see I have EDP445, Tapiwa Nashe, Savo, Copy. Right, let's answer BCC. What does it stand for? Just type it down. And then while you are typing, right, the title of the email used to gain the attention of the recipients. What field is this? Which field is this? Subject, perfect. Anyone still typing BCC, what it stands for? And then lastly, files that you want to share with the recipient. What are they called? What's the name that we use for the files that there is a link that you click, and then what do you do after clicking? Attachment, right? Still, there's no one who hasn't given me BCC, what it stands for. So maybe, I remember we said CC, it's carbon copy. So B stands for, okay, blind carbon copy, right? So these are the fields that you have if you start a new email. Number 1, 2, where you enter the address, and then CC if you want to send the message to other people, so you can put it there, and then the people will be able to see, or the recipients will be able to see the other addresses where the email was sent to. And then the other one is blind carbon copy. It hides all the other recipients' emails. It sends the email, but hides so that other people won't see where the email was sent to. And then subject, it's for the title. And then if you need to attach any files, it could be a Word document, a spreadsheet, it could be an image, you use it as an attachment. Perfect. Right. So we move on to today's lesson, and we are dealing with social, ethical, legal issues regarding computer usage. So we have 3 things: social, ethical, legal issues regarding computer usage. Right. This lesson will look at the most significant health problems associated with computer use, right? Before providing you with some tips on how to reduce the health risks associated with the daily use of computers. Now, regular computer use is not just bad for your own health, but also for the health of the environment. So there are 2 things that we'll be looking at: your own health as a computer user, and also the environment, the health of the environment. So we are going to be discussing as we go along. And I know some of these issues, if you are doing geography, you might have dealt with them. Like whatever negative impact that technology is doing to the environment. I know you have done it somewhere in geography. Right. The objectives. Number 1, you should be able to define this word, ergonomics. And then number 2, understand green computing and health issues related to computer usage. This is a big word, and all the words that you see, the concepts, they are related to ergonomics. You have medical optimization, health issues, industrial, working, functional, product, human body function, pain, strain. All these are like words that you are bound to talk about when you are dealing with computers. Stress, there is a particular certain type of stress that is related to computer usage. Right, what really is ergonomics? This is a study or a science of how humans interact with man-made objects and then creating products to increase productivity, reduce discomfort, and reduce injuries. So I'll go again. It's a study or a science of how humans, now there is humans and what humans produce, right? So how humans interact with man-made objects and then creating products to increase productivity, reduce discomfort, and reduce injuries. These products include keyboards. See, keyboards, the way keyboards are designed, it's not just by chance. There is a purpose. The way a mouse is designed, there is a purpose. The way computer desks and chairs are designed, there is a purpose. So we are looking at this now, how to reduce discomfort, how to reduce injuries. And later on, we discuss on how to help save the environment. If you have any question, remember you can type in as we go along. I'll be able to answer it for you. Right, then we look at keyboards. To promote a more natural position for hands and wrists, there is a certain design that is adapted for keyboards, with the palms turned slightly toward each other rather than flat relative to the keyboard. So the keyboards that you see these days, if you just go to, maybe you can say Incredible Connections, you can go to Game, and then you will see there are different types of keyboards. Why? There is that purpose to try to reduce damage, reduce injury to the wrist, and to make them easy to use. Same applies, you may ask, on your mobile devices, you have, instead of having a physical keyboard, you have an on-screen keyboard. It's easy to use that one, rather than to use a small physical keyboard with small buttons, right? So mobile devices also are ergonomically designed. Right, the mouse. This one, it's used extensively in a GUI environment. Used extensively in a GUI environment. Remember, graphical user interface. Whatever we do on the computer, we need that pointer. And to control it, we use the mouse, right? So users are required to hold it in their hands, sometimes in an unnatural, awkward position for long periods. So if it's not properly designed, you are bound to have injuries, that is stress or strain related injuries, right? So that's why you see there are different designs of mouse. There are different designs. You see they are made in such a way that they fit perfectly well in the palm of your hand. And the buttons, you will see there are side buttons. There is the one for if you need to scroll up and down. And for those who play games, you will see there are different types of both keyboards, mouse, and also of other input devices like cameras, microphones, even earphones. They are specifically designed to fit in your ear so that you do not feel any discomfort at all. That is, if you are using them for longer periods. So the guidelines for a safe computer usage include, number one, when we write, if you look at the diagram that I have, correct sitting posture. You should sit at right angles. You will see there's a right angle there. And then on the legs, it can be is that called an obtuse angle? I'm sure those who are doing mathematics, you know that one. And the way you look at the screen, there is a certain distance that is permitted, right? So you have to look at the monitor, the arms, the chair, the legs, and the feet, how they are positioned when you are using the computer. Now, you need to sit up with your back perpendicular to the ground. Perpendicular to the ground, it means at right angles to the ground, right? Number one. Number two, your forearms should be at the same height as your mouse and keyboard. So they should be at the same height. So remember, you are preventing injuries to different parts of your hand. So they should be at the same height as the top of the table. Sometimes we work seated on the couch at home. That one, it's not recommended, because you are not going to be able to maintain this perpendicular posture, as well as you are not going to be able to maintain that your hands are at the same level with the mouse and keyboard. Right? Then number three, your feet should be placed firmly on the ground or on a footrest. They should be placed firmly on the ground or on a footrest. Right? Then number four, the back of your chair. Now we are dealing with the chair now. Height of your chair and height of your armrest should be adjusted to support your body in this position. So you basically need a chair that you can adjust the height as well. And then you can also adjust the back side, the back part of the chair, so that you can maintain the correct posture. Right? If you have any questions, remember to put them. Right, then the next point is your monitor should be positioned at eye level and roughly 50 centimeters. These are questions that you get in theory, by the way. At what distance should the monitor be, we can say, spaced from your eye? Then it's 50 centimeters. So you might get 1 meter. On this one, if we are dealing with social distance, there we are talking of 50 centimeters, not 1 meter or 1.5 meters. So 50 centimeters, right? And there is a purpose. And then you may need to place something under your monitor to increase its height. So if the monitor cannot be at the same level with your face, with your head, then you need to place something below so that you can raise it up. And then your monitor should be tilted to reduce glare. There is a problem there. So if it's not tilted, you are bound to have eyesight problem. So it has to be tilted so that it reduces glare, right? If you are doing physical science, you will see what happens to the rays of light, how they travel, and yeah. Right, then the last one, you should stand up and take regular breaks while using the computer. You are allowed to stand up and take regular breaks. Right, if there are no any questions that you can, I don't see any questions, then we move on to green computing. Green computing. Then what is green computing? Now, when we deal with green computing, we are dealing with the environmentally responsible and eco-friendly way to use computers and their resources. So green computing refers to situations where you think of the environment when you are using the computer. Before you leave your monitor on for the whole night, just think it's using electricity. And do not just end there. You may say, okay, we are getting electricity from Eskom, but where is Eskom getting that electricity? What is it using? And what impact, negative impact, does it have on the environment? That's what you have to think before you start to say, okay, I have purchased the electricity. Right, so now we have to adopt what we call energy efficient. Energy efficiency, that's what we need to adopt, right? So you'll see the need for green computing, and then we are dealing with energy efficiency, right? So computers require electricity. And then now you think, where is the electricity coming from? From burning fossil fuels, right? Also, you may say, okay, we have Koeberg Power Station here, which is thermonuclear, right? Nuclear also is a problem. That is, if you are in Cape Town, if you are in Cape Town, there is the Koeberg Power Station, which produces electricity and it feeds it into the grid. And it's using nuclear power, which is a hazard to life. So the more you consume electricity at home, you should know that the more nuclear energy is needed. And then the more maybe radiation or whatever problems related to nuclear usage we are exposing, not only people, but other animals and the environment at large. And then when you use fossil fuels, what do? They produce heat, and heat contributes to global warming. And then you end up having the ice caps at the maybe North Pole, South Pole melting. And then that causes the rise of the what? Sea level. And some places are going to be flooded, and it's going to be a catastrophe for planet life. So you need to be very, very wise when using electricity on your devices, right? So how do we improve? How do we improve? Now we look at power saving. Produce green products that utilize less power. So we need to focus on producing products that use or that utilize less power, and then balance producing faster equipment with the increased use in power and heat, because most of the equipment that we have in the industry, they do quite a lot of work, but they need lots and lots of energy. And then they also, as byproducts, produce either it's carbon dioxide, which is going to affect the greenhouse. And then we also have heat, which is going to affect in the form of global warming. Right, then what do we need to consider? Right, the cartridges that we use, the old computers, they produce toxins. Right, these toxins, they seep into the soil, and then they end up causing environmental damage to the plants and to all the, maybe you can say, varieties of animals. So we need to reduce toxins in the manufacture of technological devices. And also, whatever has been made, instead of throwing it away, we need to be able to recycle it. So e-waste refers to whatever computer, maybe it could be hardware, that is no longer working or that you no longer use and want to throw away, such as used cartridges, old computers, old monitors, all that is referred to as e-waste, which is short for electronic waste. Right? Then paper, we need also to reduce on paper. Why paper, right? Paper comes from trees, and then for that paper to be made, the machines, they are using fossil fuels and they are emitting carbon dioxide into the air, right? And chemicals during the processing of the paper, these chemicals are just like let flow into the rivers, into the water sources. So it also have negative impacts on water life. And then, is it possible to have a paperless office? Yes, it is possible if we use technology in a more intelligent way. Right, then how do we achieve that? there are problems. The devices with, we have small portable devices with high quality displays and long battery lives. And then also now when we deal with the battery life, if it's long, obviously it's going to be like as an advantage because you are not going to be connecting it to the main power again and again to drain electricity, right? Then there is digital divide. These devices are not affordable. Now you may say, what is digital device? It's a good theory question again, which comes. Digital device divide, we are dealing with the gap between those who can and those who cannot. In terms of technology, those who can afford to buy the iPhones, these new devices that are coming up, and on the other hand, we have those who are not able to. This is where we are today. Not everyone is able to access these lessons that we are running. Why? Because we are not at the same. Some cannot afford the devices that can work with Zoom, that can work with the internet, while some they have. So there is that gap. So that's what we call the digital divide. Then hard copy is the cheapest and easiest way at the moment. If you want to print a page, it's very, maybe 50 cents, R1. So you can keep a book rather than for you to buy an electronic device. It's going to be costly to buy an electronic device to use for your documents rather than to just print, right? Then paper is cheap and less risky than large visible video display. Also, there is a problem. Now, this is to do with eyesight. And then hard copies and versus non-electronic backups of data information. So hard copies, it's easy to keep, but only there are problems if maybe there is a fire or any other natural disasters. Right. Then we move on tips, how to practice green computing. You'll see there is green use, green disposal, green design. We spoke about design, that is economics, and then manufacturing things that meet certain like standards. So how do we practice it? By using biodegradable materials. Instead of using something that can take long to decompose, use something that is biodegradable. And then using low power devices, LED, backlit screens, and then SSDs, which is solid state drives. They use less power. Same applies to LED screens. They use less power. And then using a power management function on your computing device. Use a power management function. How do you do that? You can dim the screen. You can turn off the screen maybe after 5 minutes of no use. You have that power options. You can use that one on the computer. And then switch off computers and devices you are not using. You need to switch them off. Do not just let them run on and on, unless maybe possibly you are checking the hard drive. Then try and avoid the senseless wasting of paper, right? Even when you are printing on the internet, I know sometimes you do projects. What I can recommend you to do, there is a website, a good one, which is Print Friendly. So what you simply need to do, just visit that website, www.printfriendly.com, and then you paste the link of whatever you want to print from the internet, and then it's going to produce a nice looking PDF file that you can print. You are able to remove whatever you do not need from that page, right? So it's www.printfriendly.com. Right, then send old ink cartridges back to manufacturer for recycling, and also they know how to dispose it rather than for you to just dispose it out there, because it's going to take thousands and thousands of years to decompose, and also the toxins that are there are going to seep into the ground and affect both plant and animal life. And then you need to refill and reuse old ink cartridges if you can. Right, then we move on to the last part of the presentation, which is computer-related health problems. right? We call these ones computer-induced health problems. This is just an umbrella term for the various problems a computer user can develop from extended and incorrect computer usage. So there is an extended, that is long use, and incorrect computer use, right? So most of these ones include back and neck pain, that is sitting hunched forward or lying back in your chair can cause both back and neck pain. So the way you sit can cause this. And then hand or arm pain, this is caused by the overuse of a mouse and keyboard, right? And then eye strain, by focusing your eyes for hours on the screen, you end up having eye strain, right? We move on to this one, which is obesity. Inactivity, sitting behind the computer for extended periods of time. Remember, you are just eating and eating and eating and working, playing games. It's a problem. So you need to minimize that one. You need to sometimes to stand and then you do a few exercises. It could be 2 minutes, 3 minutes, rather than to work continuously on the computer. Like when you are programming, when you are doing your programs, you need at least to refresh, right? Computer stress, being anxious or nervous when a computer malfunctions or does not perform optimally as expected. I also can testify, I've had problems sometimes with a computer and I can't even I can lose appetite. Imagine if there's something that you want to play a game, you end up losing appetite because the computer is not functioning well. So you need to be very, very careful with relation to computer stress. Right, then the correct like posture of using computers, and we are going to look at, this is the wrong posture. Obviously, we looked at the correct posture, and then we are looking at what it causes on the wrist, on the neck, shoulder, and then lower back. So you have what we call RSI. This is a theory question again, repetitive strain injury, because you are repeating tasks, a general term used to describe the pain felt in muscles, right, nerves, and tendons caused by repetitive movement and overuse. That's why you need to take breaks while you are working, right? Then the second one is called CTS, which is carpal tunnel syndrome, a condition that causes numbness, tingling, and other symptoms in the hand and arm. So these are the two main problems. You can go to the, like, to see your doctor, and then you say, oh, okay, I've been using, you say, okay, I'm having pains in my palm. Then the doctor will say, we'll start to diagnose the problem. And then if you use computers, then the best for you is to say, I use computers a lot, and then the doctor will know before you are prescribed maybe wrong medication. So there is these are two problems that many computer users face, RSI and CTS. RSI and CTS. So you need also to remember these ones for theory exams. Any questions that we have? So far, no questions. Then we move on to this part where you participate and just try to see how far you have learned today and what you can remember. Right, so this is based on activity 6 in your book, that's 6.3, and then page 127. And then the question says, instructions, choose a term or concept from column B that matches a description in column A, and write only the letter next to. So what you are simply going to do as usual is you simply enter either it's A, B, C, or D, or whatever we have there. And then let's see, the first one, number 1, this refers to the environmentally responsible and eco-friendly use of computers and their resources. What could this be? Let's see. right? Let's say the answer, you can type in the answer, either it's A, B, say it's F, that is green computing. What else do we have? Green computing, we so far have green computing. Anyone supporting green computing? We have 2 green computing. That's Ontatile and Tapuanashe. Who else? Right, that's green computing because you are dealing with the environment there, responsible way and eco-friendly, right? And then number 2 is science, which tries to increase our well-being. To increase a science, it's a science. So you say it's C, which is ergonomics. Who else supports C? Ergonomics from Otatile. Ergonomics, and then we have Savo is ergonomics. That's correct. You got it. And then we also have Tapuanashe. That's good. Right. Then one of the most common health problems associated with regular computer usage. One of the most common health problems associated with computer usage. Right? We have, what do we have? E, which is repetitive strain injury. Anyone who supports, and then there is someone who say BI strain, right? Right. Let's see. Let's go back to the question again. So we are saying one of the most common health problems associated with regular computer usage. So this one definitely is repetitive strain injury, right? Then number 4, you must take frequent short walks to prevent. Why do you need to take short walks? What do you want to prevent? It says eye, where is eye? Back and neck pain, because remember this one is due to improper posture. That is back and neck. It's due to an improper posture when you are seated. So for you to help with this one, you need to sit properly. So, but why do you need to walk, to take a walk, regular, frequent, short walks? Let's see. What else there do we have there that can? Then A says obesity. Yeah, we can also put there this one. You need to be, yeah. And then what else? There is something else. I can accept 2 there. There is also B. Remember eyesight, eye strain. If you continually sit looking at the same spot for a long time, you are bound to have eye strain. So you need also to take regular walks, right? So I can accept the B, and also we can accept A. It's fine because you need to. Let's see, what about G? Carpal tunnel syndrome. It's to do with posture as well. Carpal tunnel, and maybe this one you can put it, you can place it with one of the common, with 3. You can say, okay, 3. We can include it on 3. It's fine. Right. Then making sure that your mouse is positioned close to the keyboard, you can prevent what? Now there, this is specific. Remember, this one is related to the hand, to the mouse. Remember, what do we have there? G, which is carpal tunnel syndrome. And remember the mouse, what do you do? Right? What about if I suggest E, repetitive strain injury? right? Remember, you are moving, it's your hand, the palm again. You can also, we can say, okay, you can have also the same, that is repetitive strain injury, right? Then the glare on your monitor may cause the following. The glare, B, it's fine. And then since most electricity is created by burning coal, computers are a huge contributor to the dash emitted by humans. What is it? We unfortunately in the presentation, I don't think I did mention this one. What is emitted is G, greenhouse gases. We mentioned carbon dioxide. So it's an example of a greenhouse gas. And then lastly, this is an example of green computing. An example of green computing. What's a good example there of green computing? That's the computers going to sleep after they have exactly this one. And then also we can say use of, but it says use of SSDs, right? We can also get that one edge. Right, any questions that you might probably have? We are almost getting to the end of the lesson. Any problems? Then this one, this is a Google data storage facility. And then the only question that I want us to do is see there. So to reduce their impact on the environment as well as their cost, Google has invested millions of rand to improve the power usage effectiveness, or PUE, of their data centers, right? As a result, Google's data centers are 50% more energy efficient than the average data center. Based on this information, answer the following questions. These are type of questions that you get in your exams, right? So let's just do this last one. Name 4 things that you, as a normal computer user, can do to conserve energy. Just the type in there. What can you do to conserve energy? Dim my screen, perfect, good. What else? Then turn off devices you are not using, good, perfect. What else? So we are conserving electricity, right? What else? We have 2. Don't charge overnight. That's good. Yeah, it's okay because you will end up charging for 12 hours. That's good. Right. So I can see you did understand the concept, how to conserve energy, how to save energy, and how to practice green computing. That's perfectly well. And then we looked at ergonomics, and then we looked at green computing and health problems related to computer usage. And then to summarize all, you can look at these diagrams, the correct sitting posture, and then the correct, if you are using the computer, standing, the correct way you should use it, and then the wrong way. And we did discuss on green computing, the solutions. Right, so this summarizes everything that we've looked today. And then tomorrow, the last part of this communications part, and the internet, we are going to look at the safety, that is internet safety. And then that is the last lesson for theory that we are looking at this term. If you have any questions, you are free to prepare them and then we can ask them tomorrow. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and still we are using the same resources, that is the study opportunity, it is great, and then the free book. Right, we have come to the end of the lesson.